Check lang natin ang audio natin guys. Good day sa ating mga kabarbo dyan. Magandang umagahan dyan sa inyo. Radio check, mic 1, 2. Check lang natin ang audio natin guys. Good day sa ating mga kabarbo dyan. Magandang umagahan dyan sa inyo. Radio check. Aba, teka. Talaga namang maganda yung dating natin guys. How are you guys? Doing today? Magandang umagahan, hapunan, tanghalian sa ating mga kabarbo dyan. Kung saan man po kayong sulok ng mundo dyan. How are you guys today? Magandang umagahan. Nandito naman po tayo guys sa another episode ni Boji 2.2. Ito nga pang pag-uusapan natin nga why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't see. By Machiavelli. Aba teka, napakaganda ng na yan Ang pagkakasabi nga why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't see. Kung napakaganda naman yung talaga naman kasi meron na, yun nga po, every single human being or every single person have different perspective when it comes to, can we say, understanding of what is really happening in the front of them. But because pwede nating sabihin na we could all say that yan ang nakikita mo. But because of the process of your thoughts, maybe when the light goes into your brain, goes into your eyes, and it process within your mind, baka iba ang pagkaka-understanding mo or different somehow, some type of understanding. Salud sa ating mga kabarbo dyan I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Nandito na naman po tayo ng araw ng Biyernes, Friday. Kaya nga yung the very word right? Fry. Sana hindi pa po kayo fry. Good day sa ating mga kabarbo dyan. Ito na po guys Pakinggan po natin to. And here is, ito nga po ang why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't by Machiavelli. Pakinggan po natin to.
Think you're foolish. They see your silence and call it weakness. They see you step back and assume you are defeated. They watch you refuse to argue, refuse to explain, refuse to reveal everything you know. And they convince themselves that you simply don't understand. Let them. Because one of the most dangerous positions you can occupy is being underestimated by someone who has no idea what you see. Machiavelli understood something about power.
Just the very essence of it, right guys? Na yun nga na hindi nila alam. Salud pala sa ating mga kabrobro dyan. Good day, Aneski, good day sa iyo dyan. Lagyan kita ng ng moderator dyan para, you know what I mean? Lagi, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo dyan. Good day sa ating mga kabrobro dyan. And ito nga po, we are on this talk or topic na why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't see. Yun nga po every single people, every one have different type of perspective or pagkakaintindi. Sabi you mentioned Kuya Teddy na live your grandparents were Seventh-day Adventists. Opo, happy Sabbath nga pala sa inyo dyan sa mga Sabbath keeper dyan ang pagkakasabi nga doon sa mga SDAA, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Ito po, we are having a talk sa araw na Sabado and ayun nga pagkakaintindi dito why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Kasi nga po, each and every individual sa atin have a different, sinabing pagkakaunawa o pag-unawa and how we somehow see a certain things. Pero pakinggan po natin to. This is magagandang guys
Or that most people never learn. The person who reveals everything they know gives away part of their advantage. If everyone knows your intentions, your emotions, your limits, and your next move, you become easy to predict. But when people cannot read you, they begin filling the silence with their own assumptions. And their assumptions can become your advantage. Before we go deeper, Write this affirmation in the comments. I don't need to prove what I understand.
You know, i-write niya po sa comment section, I don't need to prove what I understand. Kaya naman kasi naiintindihan nyo na. Hindi nyo na kailangan ni paliwanag. Kasi nga po, sometimes in this life, right, it's harder for us to move forward o makakalayo tayo kung babatuhin natin ng bato kada asong tatahol sa atin. Mahirap yan, right? Yung nga pagkakasabi, make sure you guys write that down on comment section. I don't need to prove what I understand. Salute sa ating mga kabro-bro dyan,
Not because you should pretend to be unintelligent, but because you should stop wasting intelligence on people who hinaustan and only respect what they can immediately recognize. Think about how often you have felt the pressure to prove yourself. Someone misunderstood your decision, and you immediately wanted to explain. Someone underestimated you, and you felt compelled to demonstrate what you could do. Someone questioned your intelligence, and suddenly you wanted to prove them wrong. That is where the trap begins.
You know, don't get into that trap. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. The only person that you have to prove is to yourself and to the Creator, to the one above. Nothing else. Because by the end of the day, you and the Creator are the only one who see each other. Salute sa ating mga kabrover dyan, ha? Ito, pakinggan po natin to, guys.
The moment you become desperate to correct someone's perception of you, you give that person influence over your behavior. They can provoke you simply by questioning you. They can control your emotions by doubting you.
Melt sales objections with
You know?
this book. I just got my black book of questions in the mail.
They can make you reveal your plans by challenging your competence. And suddenly, you are no longer acting according to your strategy. You are performing for their approval.
You know, yun ang pinakamasa dun, no? Kaya nga, yun pinag-uusapan namin nga the other day, guys. What is the highest frequency of vibration? It's not love. The highest vibration that the human can produce is authenticity, is to be authentic, to be you. Wag na wag po tayo. Never ever, right? Never ever change yourself for anyone. Doon mo mawawala yung sarili mo. Salot sa ating mga kabrober dyan. We are right here and try to, pakinggan habang nagkakape po tayo while we're drinking coffee. It says right, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Wow. Napakaganda niya na. Salot sa ating mga kabrober dyan, na.
That is not power. Power begins when you become comfortable being misunderstood. Imagine two men entering the same room. The first immediately wants everyone to know how intelligent he is. He speaks constantly. He corrects everyone. He tells people what he knows, explains his intentions before anyone asks, and makes sure his achievements are noticed. The second man listens. He watches. He studies the room. He notices who speaks when the powerful person enters. He notices who changes their personality depending on the audience. He notices who needs attention and who becomes nervous when challenged. And he says very little. Which man understands the room better? The first man may appear intelligent, but the second man is collecting information. This is one of the most important psychological shifts you can make. Stop treating every conversation like a competition you must win. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. You don't need to explain every decision. And you certainly don't need to reveal your intelligence simply because someone doubts it. There is a strange weakness in constantly needing.
Napakaganda nung statement nila. You don't have to. because they sometimes don't receive this type of energy from you. And I guess somehow they are not ready for this type of understanding. The vessel I'm talking about. Yung katawan nila, guys, para bang may isang pitchel kang tubig, meron lang isang yung yung vessel lang nila, it could only handle a cup. I-pour mo man lahat yung the whole entire pitchel, right? By the end of the day, yun lang yung mapupuno no, wala na. May ibalik pa rin doon sa iyo, yun lang laman ng pitchel na ubos mo man yung lahat ng laman ng pitchel mo. Those are the type of stuff, man. Salat sa ating mga kabrabo dyan Pakinggan natin ito. Be authentic. Be yourself. Man, this is beautiful stuff. It says right here, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Yung pinakamatindi dun Pakinggan natin ito guys. Kasi nga, every individual have different type of perspective. May iba't iba tayong pananaw. Salut sa ating mga kabrabo dyan. Pakinggan natin ito guys.
To prove that you are strong. The more desperate you are to demonstrate your strength, the easier you become to provoke. Someone says, you can't do it. You rush to prove them wrong. Someone says, you're not smart enough. You start explaining everything you know. Someone says, you're afraid. You take a reckless action just to demonstrate courage. Now they have discovered your trigger. A person who understands this can manipulate you without ever touching you.
Ooh.
So become harder to provoke. Let people have incomplete opinions.
Become harder to provoke. And let people have incomplete opinion of what? Salut sa ating mga kabrabo dyan. Nakikinig naman tayo guys Magandang umaga hapon. Nandito po tayo sa California. It's 5:59 a.m. Almost alas 6 na po ng umaga. And nandito po si Bojo. Nakikinig. Umiinom po tayo ng kape. Na, pinakikinggan po natin itong mga dark psychology by Machiavelli. Ano ba talaga ang nangyayari sa mind of the people? Why people do what they do? Why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't? Yun yung pinakamatindi dong statement na yun Salut sa ating mga kabrabo dyan. Pakinggan po natin ito guys
Of you. Let them underestimate your abilities. Let them believe they know what you are thinking. You know yourself. You know what you are building. You know what you have observed. You do not need their permission to trust your own judgment. The strongest response to doubt is not always an argument. Sometimes it is patience. Sometimes it is silence. And sometimes it is simply continuing until reality proves what words never could. Stop proving. Start observing. Because when you no longer need to convince everyone that you are intelligent, you finally have more energy to use that intelligence. The person who constantly tries to prove how intelligent he is often reveals more than he realizes. He speaks too quickly, explains too much, corrects everyone, and feels uncomfortable when his intelligence goes unnoticed.
And that type of stuff can really, in this day and age, and we see it here in social media, right? Like, I feel like nobody have no more airtime, right? When they do speak, like, hindi na natin maintindihan yung mga sinasabi. Nakikita natin to guys. Salut sa ating mga kabrabo dyan And, we try to tap in and have this type of, dark psychology and Machiavelli. Ito nga pagkakasabi nga, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Because every single people have different type of perspective, different type of understanding of what really happening in their own reality. Everybody have different problem. Salut sa ating mga kabrabo dyan Ito nga papakinggan natin.
He wants recognition immediately. But the person who listens is doing something different. He is collecting information. He is watching who becomes nervous when challenged. He notices who changes their personality depending on who enters the room. He notices who seeks attention, who interrupts, who becomes defensive, and who suddenly becomes agreeable when someone powerful appears. He may say very little, but he is learning. And information changes the balance of power. This is where Machiavellian thinking becomes useful, not as an excuse to manipulate everyone around you, but as a discipline of strategic perception. You do not need to announce everything you notice.
You know. You know. And just, I guess, the point right here is just like learn from one another. We don't have to judge each other, bro. But for somehow, in this day and age, we do somehow measure one another by their accomplishment, what they have. Just enjoy the company of each other, man. Life is too short for us to be. Salute sa ating mga kabrover dyan. Now look at this, man. I mean, come on. Why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't? Pakinggan po natin to, guys, ha?
You do not need to expose every weakness you detect. You do not need to correct every false assumption someone has about you. Sometimes, the most intelligent response is allowing someone to remain confidently wrong about you. Why? Because while they are busy judging you, you are learning them.
Yun. While they are busy judging you, you are busy learning. Salute sa ating mga kabrobo dyan. Talaga napakaganda naman ito, guys. Ito mga Dark Psychology by Machiavelli. Salute sa ating mga kabrobo dyan. Pakinggan po natin ito, guys. Oh.
People reveal themselves differently when they believe they have already figured you out. Their guard becomes lower. They stop monitoring every word. They become comfortable making assumptions. And comfort creates information. Someone who thinks you are incapable may reveal opportunities they would have hidden from a competitor. Someone who thinks you are harmless may speak more freely around you. Someone who believes you cannot understand their intentions may become careless in revealing them. You don't need to exploit every weakness you discover. You simply need to understand what you are looking at. So stop asking yourself, how do I make them realize I'm intelligent? Ask a better question. What can I learn while they underestimate me?
That's a way better question, guys. What can I learn while they underestimate me? Because as I said, guys, you know what I mean? The highest vibration in this reality is not love, it's not hope, is authenticity, is to be yourself, to be as authentic as you are, but because at the judgment day, at the end of the day, guys, if there, you yourself have to answer yourself to the Creator as you. Never change yourself on anyone, not a relationship, not your mom, not your dad, not whoever. Just be you.
That question changes everything. Because your goal is not to win every conversation. Your goal is to understand the game. There will be moments when someone tries to provoke you just to see how you react. They may challenge your intelligence, question your decision, or make a subtle insult designed to force you into proving yourself. Don't take the bait. A calm response, or no response, can reveal far more than an emotional defense ever could. When you refuse to perform, you force the other person to continue revealing themselves without receiving the reaction they wanted. That is why being underestimated can become an advantage. They are watching the version of you they believe exists. You are watching reality. And sometimes The smartest player in the room is the one everyone mistakenly believes is losing. Let them think they have figured you out. Keep learning, keep observing. Keep your plans private when necessary. Because the moment you stop needing to prove what you know, you gain the freedom to discover what everyone else has failed to notice. There is another reason people may think you are foolish when you see what they do not. You are often looking at the pattern while they are looking at the moment. They see one event. You see the sequence.
You see? It become an habitual for some that they don't realize. I mean, I think they mentioned this in a biblical times, right? Pagkakasabi, hindi nila alam ang kanilang ginagawa. And in Tagalog, I think that's what the they are all unaware. The programming up here is taking over their life that they are just unaware. They never question. Magano pa mga kabro. But think about this, guys. Why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't? Kaya yung guys, pakinggan natin to.
They hear one sentence. You remember the 5 conversations that came before it. They react to someone's sudden kindness. You remember how that person behaved when they wanted something. They celebrate the obvious opportunity. You are calculating the hidden cost. This is why intelligence can sometimes look strange from the outside. A person who thinks several moves ahead may appear hesitant to someone who only thinks about the next move. You may refuse an opportunity everyone else is celebrating. You may walk away from an argument you could easily win. You may remain silent when everyone expects you to defend yourself.
Ayun, nasalat sa ating mga kabrobo dyan, ha? Napakaganda naman po talaga ng ating mga
People
pinakikinggan na yan, ha? Ito nga po, this is the dark psychology of Machiavelli. At talaga naman sinasabi, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Kasi nga po, guys, everybody have different type of perspective. Iba't iba po tayo ng pananaw, eh. So, ang pinakamatindi dyan is like, sometimes because we as a being wanted para bang mag-synchronize yung pananaw ng iba sa atin, hindi naman po pwede yan. Let them be. Hindi naman para bang katulad ng mga halaman dyan, eh, because the plant for me, right? Like the trees, this is a very, very big example of this journey. In order for us to produce the most amazing fruits, the beautiful leaves, beautiful branches, and maybe somehow at the flowers, the very seeds itself of that tree have to go through rigmarole, right? It has to go to very long and complicated process. It has to go to darkness. The seeds has to go to darkness, pressure, and a breaking point. And then it sprout, and then now at the end, it produced the amazing fruits. At the end. But not every single tree are the same. So now sometimes in this reality, we tend to somehow want everybody to think the way we think, to move the way we move, to dress the way we dress. It's not supposed to be that way. Enjoy your authenticity because that is the highest level of frequency into reality. If you understand vibration. And we are all that being. That's why, some of this mystic back in the day, they're talking about the aura on how protect your energy, guys. Salute sa ating mga kabrober dyan. Ito nga, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. So, dark psychology nga pala to, guys, by Machiavelli. Salute sa ating mga kabrober dyan na mga nag-istabay. Pakinggan po natin to.
Conclude that you are afraid, but they do not know what you know. They do not know what you have already calculated. They do not know which consequences you are avoiding. They do not see the information you have collected over time. They are judging your decision from a single moment. You are judging it from the entire pattern. That difference matters. A manipulative person may suddenly become kind. The inexperienced observer sees kindness. The observant person asks, "Why now?" Someone who repeatedly disrespects you may suddenly offer an apology. The emotional person immediately celebrates the apology. The strategic person watches what happens afterward. Because words can change in seconds. Patterns take much longer to change. This is why you should never judge people only by what they say during one moment of emotion. Watch what they repeatedly do when there is something to gain, something to lose, or no one watching. Patterns reveal character more reliably than isolated moments. And this principle applies to opportunities as well. Something can look attractive while hiding a cost. Something can look like rejection while creating an opportunity. Something can feel like a loss while protecting you.
You know, I personally have met a gentleman, right? He live all the way, I think it's like by, here in California, by, I think it's like close to Modesto, right? This guy, he wanted to become a millionaire. He manifested for a long time back because he don't want it to do anything anymore. I've met this gentleman and he did manifested these millions of dollars in exchange. You know what happened to him? He was riding a bike. Truck hit him. 10 feet on the air. I mean, he say 15 feet on the air? It's like about 18 feet forward, right after the truck hit him. Long process. His lawyer, bam, bam, bam. But he got damaged, right, bro? Like a part of the pace, like damage. He go to therapy every week. You know what I mean? I guess, but because of him not be having a skull, all medical bill paid. You know, I mean, just all medical bills paid, and he got in a check for millions of dollars from. I'm not really, you know what I mean? I don't want to be precise. Maybe a few million, 3 million from the trucking company, and now he's sitting at home. But he has to go to, but because of the skull. But the treatment is being paid by the company. He has to take that type of you know what I mean. To somehow, are you ready for what you wish for? Is your vessel ready of what you wish for when the reality presented to you? Salute sa ating mga kabro dyan, make sure you guys press that like button. Nandito nga po tayo with Chapin. It says, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't? Because every single people have total different type of perspective. Salute sa ating mga kabro dyan. Pakinggan po natin to, guys.
From a larger one.
The
masses often react to appearances. The strategic mind searches for consequences. That does not mean you should become suspicious of everything. It means you should become patient enough to gather evidence before reaching conclusions. Not every silence means hostility. Not every compliment means friendship. Not every opportunity is an advantage. Not every setback is a defeat. Look deeper. Ask what happened before. Ask what changed. Ask what someone wants. Ask what happens if you say yes. Ask what happens if you say no. And most importantly, ask what the pattern suggests. When you train yourself to see patterns, you stop being controlled by isolated moments. You become less reactive because you understand that one event rarely tells the whole story. So when someone calls you foolish because you refuse to react, remember this. They may be judging the moment. You are watching the pattern. And the person who sees the pattern usually has a much better idea of where the story is going. There is a difference between being secretive and being selective. You do not need to hide everything about yourself, but you also do not need to make your entire mind available to everyone you meet. One of the quietest forms of power is knowing what to reveal, what to withhold, and when silence is more valuable than an explanation. Let people know what they need to know. Not everything you know, not everything you feel, not everything you plan, not every weakness you have discovered, not every goal you're pursuing. Machiavelli understood that information changes relationships. The person who knows your intentions can anticipate your actions. The person who knows your fears can understand where to pressure you. The person who knows exactly what you want may discover what you are willing to sacrifice to get it.
You know,
This is
sometimes, guys, it is very important to be unpredictable, right? Don't let anybody know what it's your next move. I personally have, experienced this type of stuff, right? I encounter before once and a few times in my life, right? I have. I let them know what's my next move, and next thing you know, you're getting sabotaged. But the step you make. So let's ating mga kabrobo dyan na, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't? Ano kaya yun, guys, ha? Because not everybody have the exact same yung ba pananaw or point of view. Pakinggan po natin to, guys, ha? Napakaganito ito.
why constantly explaining yourself can become a weakness. Someone questions your decision, and you immediately defend it. Someone challenges your ability, and you reveal everything you can do. Someone demands to know your plans, and you give them a complete explanation. You think you are proving yourself, but you may simply be handing them information they never earned. You do not need to fake stupidity. You do not need to pretend you know nothing. You do not need to deliberately make yourself look weak. Instead, become selective. Speak when your words create value. Remain silent when speaking only exposes you. Share your plans with people who genuinely need to know them. Keep private what belongs to you. And never reveal something simply because someone pressures you to reveal it. Notice how different people behave when you stop explaining yourself. Some will respect your decision. Others will become irritated because they were accustomed to having access to your reasoning. That reaction tells you something. The person who becomes angry because you established a boundary may not have wanted an explanation. They may have wanted control. You must learn to recognize the difference. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not required to constantly prove your intelligence, intentions, innocence, or worth. Sometimes you can simply say, "This is my decision," and stop.
You know. You know. You gain your energy back. You gain yourself back. You gain yourself by saying say no. Because you prioritize yourself during that moment and you don't let anybody control you.
Stop there. The need to explain everything often comes from the fear of being misunderstood. But being misunderstood is not always dangerous. Sometimes it is simply uncomfortable. Learn to tolerate that discomfort, because when you stop needing everyone to understand you, you become much harder to manipulate. People can no longer easily predict your emotions. They cannot easily anticipate your next move. They cannot use your need for approval to make you reveal more than you intended. You become calmer, more deliberate, more difficult to read. And that is the real purpose of selective revelation. Not deception, not manipulation. Control over access to yourself. The strongest person is not always the one who says the least. It is the one who knows exactly when to speak, what to reveal, and what should remain his alone. Some people will misunderstand you. Some will underestimate you.
Let them, and just be yourself. Let them underestimate you. Let them misunderstand you, and just observe. But because they will rebuild themselves of being. Their being. They will rebuild their being. Yung ba ang the meaning of education, right? The very word education, which mean educo from inside, and you push it out, is within. Salot sa ating mga kabroban. Pakinggan natin to, guys, ha?
Some will confidently believe they know exactly who you are after seeing only a fraction of your character. Let them. Their certainty does not make their conclusion true. In fact, there can be an advantage in allowing someone to remain confident in a false assumption about you. While they are busy judging you, you are free to observe them.
Ito nga po, guys. This is the very best example of that, guys. Let me share you guys this tab, right? Look, I have recently posted a video. It says, look, amazing clip when Michael Jackson put Beyonce on the music industry, right? And I got in a very, very mixed emotion, right, guys? The comic section is still going up till today. Right? The comment section is going up today. It's 50,000 views already, right, guys? With over almost 400 a comment, right? With like about 1,300 likes. But look at this clip, guys. This is very, very controversial, and this is one of those clip that we got in a mixed emotion.
You want to sit on? You want to make this easier? You can sit on my lap. Michael. Michael. Hi. Okay, we're in. Okay. All right, we're in the studio, and I have Beyonce sitting on my lap, and I'll put you on speakerphone.
I'm sorry.
You know, even people, right? They were saying that why? And Beyonce knows have to sit on the lap, especially during this early stage of her career. You know what I mean? I guess the people trying to say that even Michael Jackson over the phone could say that Beyonce doesn't have to sit on your lap. But you know what I mean? It's amazing how I got in a very, very mixed emotion about this clip, guys. Look at the comment, bro. You guys look at the comment. But the crazy part about it, on this particular moment, when Michael Jackson put on Beyonce, this is the time and propel her career to now. She's an icon. But this clip is just, you know what I mean? People say it's cringe. She didn't need to sit at all. You know what I mean? And I guess, guys, I'm just still telling you, the view is still going. The comment section is going off. Look at this, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone to talk to her, and give. Okay, you're shaking. Okay, you ready? Okay, hold on.
Oh no. I'm gonna pass out.
Michael,
Yes, Mark.
here we go. I have Beyonce here.
Hi.
Hi, Beyonce.
How you doing?
Well, good. I really appreciate you doing this because we're giving back.
I'm very honored. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yes. sweet.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
But thank you. Brad Buxer is putting down the track now.
Right here, Michael.
Brad,
Yes.
you're putting down the track now.
Yeah, Beyonce's gonna go in the studio and lay it down now, and you're gonna give her inspiration.
Michael, when she was listening to the track, she fell in love with it immediately.
Yes, I did. I love it.
You did?
Yeah,
Yes.
immediately, Michael.
It's wonderful.
She lit up, immediately from the very first line of the first verse.
But please don't, Beyonce. My voice.
Your voice sounds great.
You sound
He was getting over the flu when we recorded this.
You know, the flu. I had the
And-
flu.
This is only his demo track for
That's how his voice sounds when it's
Yeah.
when he has the flu.
Well, it sounds wonderful. And the first line, I screamed. Literally, I screamed.
And Michael, she's, these guys can sing. I mean,
Look, they even in the comment section, right? It seems to me like some kind of failed black note, so they let the tape out. Cause surely she endorsed it. Wow.
she's gonna nail this. This is great. So we're happening. The vibe couldn't be any better.
Let's get going then.
All right,
All
let's
right.
get going.
Love you, Michael.
I love you too.
All right,
Bye.
talk to you later, Michael.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Mixed emotion that we gotten from this clip, guys. A very mixed emotion. So, sa ating mga kabrobo dyan, guys, And of course, balikan po natin, guys, yung topic natin. Yun nga pagkakasabi dito, guys, we're almost, finished with our segment. I appreciate everyone who stopped by on our stream. Ito nga, why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Kasi nga po, guys, everyone had different type of perspective. Iba't iba tayo, guys, ng pananaw. Pakinggan po natin to, guys.
While they are deciding what you are capable of, you are learning what they are capable of. Watch how people behave towards someone they consider insignificant. Watch how quickly their tone changes when they believe they have nothing to gain. Watch how they treat people they cannot impress. That behavior is information. Watch what happens when they think they have the advantage. Do they become arrogant, careless, aggressive? Do they reveal information they normally hide? Do they become more demanding because they believe you will tolerate it? Pay attention. You do not have to manipulate them. You do not have to expose them. You simply have to notice. The impatient person reveals impatience. The insecure person constantly seeks validation. The controlling person becomes uncomfortable when they lose influence. The arrogant person underestimates resistance. The attention seeker becomes uncomfortable when nobody reacts. And the person who constantly needs to prove superiority often reveals exactly where their insecurity lives.
Yep.
This is why silence can be so powerful. When you stop rushing to respond, people have more room to reveal themselves. When you stop defending every decision, they reveal what they actually believe about you. When you stop explaining your intentions, you can see who respects your boundaries and who feels entitled to access your mind. You don't need to expose every weakness you notice. You don't need to announce every pattern you recognize. You don't need to tell someone, I know exactly what you're doing.
Whoa. What are those?
The laptops.
This response is simply remembering what you saw and adjusting your behavior accordingly. If someone repeatedly shows you that they cannot be trusted, you do not need a dramatic confrontation. Reduce access. If someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, you do not need a speech. Create distance. If someone repeatedly underestimates you, you do not need to prove yourself. Keep improving. Your behavior becomes the answer. The deeper lesson is simple. Stop treating every misunderstanding as a problem that must be corrected. People are allowed to have incomplete opinions of you. They are allowed to underestimate you. They are allowed to think they understand you. You are allowed to know that they don't. And once you become comfortable with that, you stop wasting energy trying to control perception. You become more observant, more patient, and far more difficult to read. Sometimes the person who appears least concerned is the person paying the closest attention. Let them misunderstand you. Their assumptions can reveal more about them than they ever reveal about you. The next time someone mistakes your calmness for stupidity, do not rush to correct them. The next time someone assumes you do not understand, resist the urge to reveal everything you see. And when someone underestimates you, do not immediately feel the need to prove them wrong. Instead, ask yourself one question. What do I lose by letting them believe this? Sometimes the answer is nothing. In fact, their misunderstanding may give you something valuable. Freedom. Freedom to observe without being observed.
Freedom to observe without being observed. Keeping low-key, guys. Keeping low-key. You know, teka, napakaganda nung pinakinggan natin, guys. Pero ganun pa man, guys, you know what I mean? Ito na po yung aking 1 hour. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by at the show. Ito po once again, si Steven Salapari, aka Boji 2.2. At talaga namang maraming salamat po sa mga nag-stop by dyan. I appreciate you guys so much. Till next time. Thank you guys very much.
Freedom to move without announcing your intentions. Freedom to develop without attracting unnecessary attention. Freedom to make decisions without an audience demanding explanations. This is where emotional discipline becomes a form of power. A person who needs everyone to recognize their intelligence is still dependent on other people's opinions. But a person who can remain misunderstood without becoming frustrated has reached another level of control. You do not need applause every time you make a correct observation. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need to dominate every conversation. And you certainly do not need to announce every plan before it becomes reality. Let your discipline speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your decisions speak. Let your results speak. Build quietly. Improve quietly. Study quietly. Observe quietly. Then, when the right moment arrives, act with precision. There is a psychological advantage in being underestimated, because people prepare for the version of you they believe they understand. They watch the weaknesses they think you have. They anticipate the reactions they believe you will make. They create a picture of you in their mind, and then they begin responding to that picture instead of reality. Do not interrupt their assumptions unnecessarily. Let them believe you're slower than you are. Let them think you have not noticed. Let them assume you are less capable than you really are. Not because you are trying to deceive everyone,
Let them.
but because you have stopped believing that everyone deserves access to your full mind.
Let them.
The objective is not to look foolish. The objective is to become so secure in your own understanding that you no longer need strangers to confirm it. You do not need to prove what you see. You need to understand it. You do not need everyone to recognize your intelligence. You need to use it. And you do not need to win every moment. You need to win the larger game. So let them think you're stupid. While you learn, while you observe, while you build, while you become. One day they may realize that the person they underestimated was quietly watching everything, calculating everything, and preparing for a future they could not see. And by then, their opinion may no longer matter. Stay quiet, stay observant, stay unpredictable. Because sometimes being underestimated isn't an insult, it's an advantage. So walk forward quietly. Let your discipline become visible through your actions. Let your intelligence reveal itself through your decisions. Let your results speak when words are no longer necessary. You do not need everyone to understand you. You only need to understand yourself. And if this message speaks to you, leave this affirmation in the comments. I do not need to prove what I know.
You know. Maraming salamat guys sa inyo dyan, ha. I do not need to prove what I know. You don't have to. Until next time, guys. This is once again Bojoy 2.2. I appreciate you guys so much sa mga nag-stop by dyan sa stream natin. Maraming salamat po. And you know, that's a beautiful video. Why people think you're foolish when you see what they don't. Maraming salamat po sa inyo guys dyan. And that is my 1 hour. Salute po sa inyo.